Hello everyone, today we are going to learn how to make Ceylon Paratha. Okay, and this is the very simple recipe, and I know that we all love it. So all that you need is just maida, salt and a lot of oil. So we have just taken plain refined oil and water to make the dough really soft. So it is not about the ingredients that we are going to use. It is about the method and how well we prepare it. So we are going to use both maida and oil. So if you are really health conscious and on dieting, this may not be an apt dish for you right now. But then if you are a person who knows to balance between health and you also like to surprise your taste buds, then yes, I think you can indulge yourself in such an activity. It's okay, once in a while we can have Ceylon parathas as well. So let's move on. Here I have taken 3 cups of maida, which is around 500 grams of maida, with which I am going to add around 2 teaspoons of salt. You can actually add it according to your taste. So with this we are just going to give it a nice blend. So why we are doing it this way is just to aerate the flour that we have taken. You can actually sift it, but I have already done that step, so I'm just skipping it. You can do this, and this will kind of aerate the flour well so that it makes it fluffy. Ideally, when we go to the restaurants, they use the baking soda or baking powder, mainly baking soda, but today we are not going to use it because to be frank, I have tried both the methods, without soda and with soda. It doesn't make any difference at all actually. So I have not seen any quality difference. It is equally fluffy and crisp on this outside. So I'm not using any soda. If you want to, you can use maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of soda. I'm just going to make a soft dough out of water alone. See to that you make it really soft, not like our regular chapati dough, because it has to be really flexible for us to make the layers. So continue doing this. Add enough water. You'll have to be generous in doing that so that the dough becomes really soft. Now you might have noticed that our dough is really sticky and very soft, and this is the consistency we actually want. But you don't have to worry about the messy look as of now, because when we add enough oil, it is going to be back in shape, so don't you worry. So now I'm going to add approximately 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. I'm going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil, but not everything at a time. So now I have added 1 tablespoon. I'm going to mix it really well. Now you might already notice that it has all coming back into shape. Kind of the messiness is kind of getting to solve, but it all depends on how well you knead it. There's going to be a lot of arm work for you, but don't worry, the taste that you get finally will be really gratifying. So I think it's okay, a little of hard work. Okay, now I'm going to add my 2nd tablespoon of oil. I think it's oily enough and I don't have to add any more oil. Now we are going to do this for maybe 5 minutes and then going to allow it to rest for 30 minutes. So if you are really in a rush and don't have enough time, I recommend you don't plan this, okay? But the minimum time that you'll have to rest could be 20 minutes. But if you are in a fix and you don't have enough time, then that you can't spare even 20 minutes for the resting time, I recommend that you do it and enjoy your Ceylon parathas on a day which you feel you are leisure enough to manage this. Okay, now did you notice that the oil has been absorbed? So this is what we wanted. Now we are going to allow it to rest. If you want, you can wrap it with a damp, wet, soft cloth, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to cover it with a lid and leave it to rest for 30 minutes. It's been 30 minutes now, and you just look how soft our dough looks. It is really soft. Now we are going to see how we are going to make the parathas actually, for which we have just cleaned the workstation completely because we need a broader space to work on. Now we are going to grease our workstation with oil, the little oil, smear it well, and then we are going to knead our dough well. We are going to continue this, but you don't have to work on for too long. Now what we are going to do is we are going to just cut them into small pieces, more workable size pieces. So I'm going to roughly make it into a piece of this size. I hope you are able to see. So I have just taken a bit, squeezed it between my thumb and the forefinger, and just cutting it into a small ball so that we get equal sized portions to work on. So I'm repeating. That's it. Now this is for a regular paratha that I'm making these dough balls, but in case you are making it for chili paratha or something, you may have to have pieces which are little more bigger because we want them to be really fluffy, and we don't want to waste more time on making these parathas because anyway we are for chili paratha we will be chopping these parathas into smaller pieces. So we have shared the recipe for making chili paratha also in our channel. I recommend that you check that as well so that you have a variant. So now we are done. Let's see how to make the parathas. Now we have applied some oil here again, and we are going to work with this paratha to make the layers out of it. So I'm going to take some oil in a smaller container so that it's more handy and closer. So what we are going to do is I'm just going to flatten it with my palm. Then we can use your roller pen if you want to, but you must have noticed that professionals don't do it actually. If you have seen in any restaurant in Tamil Nadu or any other place where they make these parathas, they don't use a roller pin at all. After all, they are professionals. So, but I believe that this one helps, at least in the initial stage. Roll it as thin as possible. So this is the reason why I said that you will need a wider space to work on. Now at this stage, if you don't have to worry if it is tearing apart, Anyway, we are going to layer it, so you don't have to worry about the shape or how well it looks. You just ensure that your paratha is really thin. So that's it. It didn't take long actually. So once we are done with this is step 1, wherein we are going to add 1 teaspoon of oil. Apply it well all over, and then simply pick the corners. As you can see, just roughly pick them, make a zigzag movement over it, exactly this way, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. That's it. So we are going to make it a swirl, and you might already see the layers. Do you see that? So that's it. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to just press it against your palm so that you don't overdo it and just smudge and mix all the layers up. Just be gentle, but ensure that you are pressing it well. You can use your roller pin, but ideally it's better if you just go with your palms, and don't make it very thin or else we might lose our layers. So now heat up a thick iron or indolium tawa. Non-stick should work fine, but ensure that it has a thick bottom and it's really hot, and then we are going to see how to fry them up. Once your layers are done at this stage, maybe you can make the layers for the rest of the dough balls as well. Keep it aside and make them just before you want to serve it. Well, tawa is really hot. We are using a hot indolium tawa today. So this is a well seasoned heavy bottom tawa, in which I am just going to add half a teaspoon of oil. Now we are going to just lift our paratha carefully, gently, and drop it in this. Okay, just see to that you don't damage the layers, because we have worked very hard for it. And once you see the color turning, you can add up to 1 more teaspoon of oil to this. You can pair this parotta with any veg khurma or chicken or mutton non-veg khurma, egg curry. You can pair it with anything actually. So you just keep noticing, do you see that golden nice brown color in there? So we will give it a little more time, and you might also notice that the layers are already coming out. So that is what we are looking for. Look at those beautiful flakes. Wow. So that is what we are waiting for. Give it a little more time, and you might also observe that the color is changing here, which means it is cooking well. So the same thing is noticed in the other end as well. So now we will flip it. Lovely it looks. I hope you like it as well. Now what we can do is give it a little time, maybe at 10 seconds, after which you can leave your ladle underneath and add the rest of the half a teaspoon of oil we have already added. Now we are adding the rest and dropping it. Okay, now give it some time. Let your flame not be like in high, let it be in medium high, so that you ensure that the complete layers are cooked well. So it's been 30 seconds now. Our paratha looks really good, and it has cooked well as well. Now you might you might notice the layers coming out. So now we are going to just shift it and repeat the process for the rest of our parathas. Our second paratha is also ready. So you might notice that this is little thicker than the first one. This I have purposefully made it thicker so that I can show you on how to cut it for chili parotta or mutta parotta or egg parotta when you are making it. So here we go, the second one is also ready. I'm just going to show you how to move on with the next. Here we go, our paratha is ready. I'm going to show you how to just get them into layers. It is still hot but not piping hot. I've just taken it out and left it for 2 seconds. So just hold it between your palms and just give it a little gentle crush, so that, do you see the layers? All your layers are out and it becomes easy for you to proudly plate them. So this is how you serve it. So once this is done, you can just put it in the serving dish before you serve. But if you want to do it with but if you want to use this paratha for making chili parotta or egg parotta, then you may not have to do this. You can cut them off using a pizza cutter or a knife. I'll show you how to do that. Here is our paratha which is ready. This we are going to cut it for chili paratha. So what you can do is you can either use a knife, a sharp one, or as I said, you can use your pizza cutter also. So to ease my process, I'm going to use my pizza cutter and cut it into smaller squares, so that it is easier for me to use it for chili paratha. So let me cut it and show you how. Here we go. If you are using your knife, you can just cut it this way and make them into small squares. Now I'm going to use the pizza cutter. Just going to make your job a little easier. But you can do the same thing with a knife as well. Once that is done, I'm going to flip it and cut it into. Here we go. Our squares are ready for our chili paratha. So you can check the recipe for chili paratha also if you are planning to make one, or else you can move ahead and serve with plain curry. So that is how it is. And now if you want to do it for egg paratha, or which we call as mutta paratha, you just have to take this apart. I know it is hard taking to undergo a lot of hard work and just to tear it into small pieces, but believe me, it's going to taste very good. So you will just have to make them into small pieces. See, you see the layers, the flaky layers. This is how it should be from within. So just make them into small pieces and use it as per your recipe. So